It's a cold morning in the year 2000. Outside the Moscone Center in San Francisco, it's snowy, but it's hot inside. It's not just because Apple's World Showcase has attracted a lot of attention. It's also because a moment in history is about to unfold. On stage, a man in an iconic black turtleneck announces in a determined voice that he's relinquishing his title as interim CEO. That man is Steve Jobs. At that moment, amidst much applause and cheering, what we're witnessing is not just the resurrection of Apple, but also the transformation of Steve Jobs himself, from the bottom to the top. Today, let's enter the world of Steve Jobs. Discover how this tech giant rewrote his own destiny over and over again, and how he profoundly influenced the development of the entire technology industry, from garage startup to global technology leader. With every decision and change he made, Steve Jobs showed the world that change is a constant. Today, we'll look at key moments in his life and explore how this legendary figure lived out his credo: live to change the world. Hello everyone, and welcome to Audible Wisdom. Enjoy listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support is our greatest motivation. In 1955, a baby chosen by fate was born in San Francisco. His birth was marked by a dramatic mix of sadness and joy, for he was soon abandoned by his biological parents and given to Clara and Paul Jobs. The couple's warm embrace gave young Steve a home, but deep in his heart was an unspeakable sense of abandonment. It was a feeling that would become a driving force in his quest for control and success. As he grew older, Jobs' curiosity about the world blossomed. As a teenager, he developed an insatiable passion for electronics. In his world, circuit boards and transistors were more than cold metal. They were tools for dreaming and innovating, bridges to the future. A passion that, in the company of Steve Wozniak, would soon burst into amazing sparks. Technological genius Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs hit it off. Their friendship and shared interests soon led to a great idea: the creation of Apple Computer. In 1976, the two Steve began their great adventure in Steve Jobs' family garage. From that humble garage came the Apple I computer, one of the world's first personal computers. It not only changed their destiny, it started a new chapter in the global computer revolution. Jobs' vision and Woz's technology were like a perfect chemical reaction, transforming the spark of innovation into reality again and again. We see the abandoned children in the first scene. How through his love and persistence of technology began a journey aimed at changing the world. Every circuit board, every line of code is his way of announcing his existence to the world. From that iconic garage, Steve Jobs not only took control of his own destiny, he showed us how to write the pages of a life of legend through endless innovation and relentless pursuit. In the early years of Apple, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, the two founders, unleashed a torrent of innovation. The Apple I, though humble, was a bold step forward in the personal computer market. Soon after, the release of the Apple II ushered in the commercialization of the personal computer. Apple went from a garage project to Silicon Valley star. The Macintosh followed in 1984 and became a worldwide sensation. This machine not only introduced the graphical user interface, but also heralded the future of computing. The release of the Macintosh was a visual and technological revolution. Steve Jobs' leadership during this period was undeniably forward-thinking and ambitious. But just as Apple was soaring under Jobs' leadership, an internal power struggle was brewing. In 1985, disagreements over the future direction of the company reached a crescendo. The conflict between Jobs and then CEO John Cully ultimately led to a shocking outcome. Jobs was forced to leave the company he had founded. It was an event that not only shook Silicon Valley, but also had a profound impact on Jobs' career and emotional well-being. Steve Jobs didn't back down from this major setback in his career. He soon started his next computer. The company was not a huge success in the marketplace, but it did develop the technology that would become the core of Apple's operating system. At the same time, Jobs was also involved in another seemingly unrelated field: animated movies. He bought Pixar, a small computer animation studio, and turned it into an entertainment giant. Pixar's first film, Toy Story, was a worldwide success and revolutionized the way animated films were made and watched. It was a challenging time, but also a pivotal period of personal growth and transformation for Steve Jobs. He learned valuable lessons from these experiences and matured not only technically, but also in terms of management and strategy. All of this laid the groundwork for his return to Apple and his leadership of the company into an even more glorious era. In conclusion, the rise of Apple and the fall of Steve Jobs is not only a story of technology, but also an epic tale of dreams, power, betrayal, and redemption. The story of Steve Jobs gives us an insight into the ups and downs of the human triumph and struggle of this great innovator. In the late 90s, Apple was like a flatboat drifting on a sea of technology, almost at the bottom. It was at this critical juncture that Steve Jobs, the long-exiled founder, returned to the fold. It wasn't just a simple return, it was a complete redemption and rebirth. Steve Jobs' first major project back at Apple was to drive the development and release of the iMac. This machine, with its unique design and user-friendly interface, quickly became a market favorite and marked the reemergence of the Apple brand. Steve Jobs followed up with a series of revolutionary products. The iPod changed the way the world listened to music. The iPhone redefined the smartphone, transforming it from a communications tool to a personal device like no other. The iPad opened up the tablet market and ushered in a new wave of consumer electronics. Behind these innovations was a profound shift in Steve Jobs' philosophy of business and technology. Instead of simply pursuing technological breakthroughs, he focused on the art of design and the centrality of the user experience. Jobs believed that technology should serve humanity, not dominate it. This philosophy not only deeply influenced Apple's product line, but also gradually became the consensus of the global technology industry. But just as his career was reaching new heights, Steve Jobs' personal life was faced with a major challenge. He was diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer. Faced with death, Jobs showed remarkable courage and resilience. Not only did he publicly battle the disease, it was also a time for Jobs to reflect more deeply on the meaning of life and the value of legacy. He believed that every moment of life should be cherished, every breath filled with creative possibility. In his final years, Jobs dedicated himself to charting a course for Apple's future, and he did his best to show the public how to face the end of life with dignity. Jobs' story is not only a treasure in the history of science and technology, it's also a profound demonstration of the power of the human spirit. This scene in the story not only tells the legend of a phoenix rising from the ashes, a lost man returning home, it's also a profound revelation of wisdom, courage, and the light of humanity. In the story of Steve Jobs, we see how one man's relentless effort and constant self-transcendence ultimately led to extraordinary success in the world of business and in his personal life. As we look back on the life of Steve Jobs, he had a profound impact on technology and culture. Not only did he redefine product categories, he made technology fashionable and lifestyle-driven. From the iPod to the iPhone, Steve Jobs' touch has permeated every aspect of our daily lives. He taught the world how to connect work and play in a whole new way. In Steve Jobs' philosophy, we see a unique force of creativity and perseverance. It's a force that fueled a revolution in technology. It was this relentless pursuit of perfection that shaped the quality of Apple's products and its unique user experience. Through his story, we learn that no matter what challenges we face, vision and perseverance will always take us to greater heights than ever before. Steve Jobs once said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't get caught up in dogma, which means living in someone else's mind. Don't let other people's opinions drown out your inner voice." These words are not only a reflection of his career, but also a precious legacy for everyone. In each chapter of this book, we can see how Steve Jobs got back up after every failure, and every time he succeeded, he kept going. His life may be over, but the fire of his creativity and dreams will continue to burn in the hearts of those he touched. Let's close today with the words of Steve Jobs, "Live to change the world." May we all find in our own lives the power to change the world. This is not just a place to share the best books. It's also a community for learning and sharing. Thank you for your support. Please subscribe to our channel. Join us in the fun of listening to books to broaden your horizons and enrich your knowledge system. Let's improve our lives by listening to books together.